Hello. This is your third Flip the Classroom video, the third set anyway, and this is going to be for Tuesday, April 14th, and our goal is to add, subtract, multiply, and divide functions. I have been using the word functions from time to time, but I haven't clearly defined what it is, and even for today's lesson too, I'm not going to clearly define what it is. On Tuesday when we get back, after we start with the homework first, then we're going to pull back with two or three more examples, and then you'll be able to finish the homework. Okay. Well, functions, just for now, just think of them as just pretty much equations. Equations that you've already seen so far. Y is equal to x squared. Y is equal to square root of x. Okay. Well, let's just start off with something like this. Y is equal to x squared plus 2. I am going to rewrite it so that we have f of x is equal to x squared plus 2. They just mean the same thing. Okay? Same thing. It's just that the y now has a different name and that's going to be labeled as f of x. So you say this as f of x. When we do get into the second portion of the lesson on Tuesday, after we start off with the homework, then I will define what a function is and what f of x is. But just note, for right now and just for today's purposes, this means the same thing as that. Let's already jump into example number 1. Okay, our first equation, f of x is equal to negative 4x minus 3. Our second equation is g of x, so it's a different one, is equal to x squared minus 3x. And it is asking you to find f plus g of x. Well, for the steps of this is you're going to take these two equations, you're going to take these two functions and combine them by the operation that you see: plus, minus, multiply, or divide. So the steps for this, okay, take the two functions or the equations and add, subtract, multiply, or divide them. When you do that, you always want to try to make sure if you can also combine like terms. Combine like terms. Okay, well, what is your f function or your f equation? Your f equation, as stated above, is negative 4x minus 3. So we're going to put that in there first, is equal to negative 4x minus 3. What are we going to do with that g equation? With the f, we're going to add them. So we're going to go add, what was your g equation? X squared minus 3x. X squared minus 3x. Please try to put this in exponential order. So I see the x squared first. I can combine negative 4x and minus 3x. That's going to be negative 7x. And we still have that negative 3 over here. This is your ANS for example number 1. So you're just pretty much either adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing those equations that you see for your problems or your examples. Okay. This f plus g of x, let me just go turn over to the next page. Right over here. If you see something like f plus g of x, or if you have it separated so that it looks like f of x plus g of x, okay, they both mean the same thing. Okay, they're asking you to do the same thing. It's just written a little bit differently, but they're asking you to do the same thing. They're just asking you to take your f equation and then add it to your g equation. Okay, let's do a subtraction one, example number 2. Suppose now your f of x is x to the 3 minus 2. Your g of x, let me put this up over here, is equal to x minus 2. And we also, what we're going to do is we're going to find f of x minus g of x. Okay, well, what is your f of x function or your equation? It's going to be x to the third minus 2. So let's bring that down. This is going to be x to the third minus 2. What are we going to do with both of them? We're going to subtract them. So we'll take that minus sign over here. Always, whenever you have a subtraction, that second term, you need to put parentheses. Okay, what's your g equation? X minus 2. The reason why you need to put the parentheses is because you're not only subtracting the x, you're also subtracting the negative 2. You need to distribute that negative sign to both of these. Simplify this. This is x to the third minus 2 minus x plus 2. Well, the negative 2 and the plus 2, it will become 0. So all we're left with is x cubed minus x. This is your ANS for example number 2. X cubed minus x. Okay, well, again, same thing. Whenever you see something like parentheses f minus g of x, or even f of x minus g of x, they both mean the same thing. They're both telling you to grab your f equation, subtract it from, put a parentheses, your g equation. Okay, similar problems to this are problems number 1 to 10 on your homework. So similar problems to this are problems number 1 to 10 on your homework. You're either going to add or subtract those two equations. Let's do now with a multiplication, example number 3. And let me just straighten out this paper. Let's do something like f of n is equal to 2n plus 2, and then your g of n is equal to 3n squared plus 2. Find 3f minus 4g of n. Okay, it's not going to be too strict of a multiplication. I know I said we're going to do some multiplication, but this is what I mean. What this means is we're going to multiply 3 times the equation of f minus 4 times the equation of g. Okay, so let's start off with the 3 first. Parentheses, what was your f equation? Your f equation was 2n plus 2. We're going to put that in right over here. So here's 3. Here's the f, and then minus 4 right over here. And then what was your g equation? Your g equation was 3n squared plus 2. You're going to plug that inside the parentheses, 3n squared plus 2. Now it looks like an algebraic equation from Algebra 1. You're just going to distribute the 3 and the negative 4 respectively. So this is going to be 6n plus 6. Remember, you got to distribute that negative 4 to both of these terms. So this is going to be negative 12n squared minus 8. Okay? Well, always put them in exponential order. I see the negative 12n squared as first, plus 6n. We can definitely combine that plus 6 and then the negative 8. This is going to become negative 2. This is your ANS for example number 3, negative 12n squared plus 6n minus 2. Similar problems to this are problems number 11 through 18. Okay, so let me just repeat that one more time. If you have a combination of numbers that you have to multiply, just do it as is. It's telling you 3 times f, 3 times the equation of f, the function of f, and there's a minus sign, so minus, so sometimes it could even be a plus 2, so just be very careful with that. Minus 4 times the equation of g. And with the equation of g is given on top, it will be 3n squared plus 2. You're going to distribute and also combine like terms. So this is example number 3.